Hey there, Logan David Leather, welcome to my little Texas kitchen. Today let's talk about nachos. Now, if the only nachos you've ever had are ones, that you ordered in a Mexican restaurant or, one of the theme restaurants, cooking them, that's not your problem. I'm sorry, I know that was horrible. But if you want to cook them, there are thousands of ways to make nachos. The one I'm going to do in this video is one that I tried last week. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think you'll like it. What I'm going to do is take breakfast sausage, and if you want to follow the recipe, if you want mild or medium or hot, that's your decision. It depends. You might want to taste it, cook a little bit of the sausage first before you put it on a bunch of nachos, especially if you're preparing for more than one person, because different people have different levels of heat that they can take as far as peppers. I think I bought hot, just an off-brand. I've used it before. It's cheap and it's actually pretty good. It's better than some of the more expensive sausages. And we're going to throw in some diced onion and bell pepper, and I think some red bell pepper. Not a whole lot of those things, because all we're going to do is, well, I'll show you. And here we are. I have combined the breakfast sausage, broken it up, and cooked in the onions and bell pepper, diced, and fresh garlic. And you want to cook that really well. I mean, you don't want liquid when you're done. You want it really cooked well, because even though it's going to go into the oven at 400 to 450 for only 5 minutes, that's not enough time for the pork to cook or anything else. That's just enough time to melt cheese. But we'll get to that. Now, one thing you can use a slotted spoon. You can use one of these old things. This has been in my family for, I don't know, 40 years. But that you would use to drain off any water or grease. My method in this little bitty skillet, by the time the pork is ready, which will be a somewhat medium brown color instead of this gray that you see now. Anyway, by the time we reach that color, there won't be any, liquids left in there. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and set up. These are just basic, generic, store brand tortilla chips. Now, these are lightly seasoned. I have discovered that if you go with a seasoned chip, it makes the experience a little bit more interesting as far as your taste buds go. You can use plain chips. If you're watching your salt, you can use unsalted. If you don't take MSG into your body, which you really shouldn't anyway, because most of these chips that have seasoning are going to have MSG. But if you're watching all that stuff, then you can forego the seasoning and go with just plain chips. Okay, we spread our chips out. Stir our meat. I have a theory about food, and some people just laugh at me, but to my nose, I can smell when it's ready. And maybe it's experience too. There's a lot of other things I can't smell. Some things I wish I couldn't smell. But usually food smells like it's done. And also, for my little toaster oven. We have the temperature set at 425. We're only going to have these nachos in there for about 5 minutes. Okay. Got a nice brownish tone to it. It smells like it's done. And then just rake it out gently. See, that's why you break up the meat. Otherwise it will string together. All come off at once, mess up your chips. Now there's no display or presentation with nachos. I'm sorry for people who, you know, say there's got to be a display, you've got to make a presentation. Not with nachos, kids. Nachos are a fun food. They are just that. Oh man, I can't waste that, can I? Ha! Yeah, that works too. Okay. Slide this down. Now this, you can use any brand of cheese you want. This is Sargento's 4-cheese Mexican. It's got Monterey Jack, cheddar, queso, and asadero cheese. And by the way, I've only heard of one of those. Doesn't really matter much. Apply it liberally, depending on how much of a cheese lover you are. And whether or not this is a big part of a meal or an appetizer for, you know, company. And when it's all done, arrange it as best you can. These nachos you can also eat with a fork. No big deal. And then that is going to turn into something we'll show you in just a minute. And there they are, fresh out of the oven. I'll zoom in for you. Does that look tasty? I'll know in a minute. I don't know, 5-10 minutes cooking time. Nachos are ready. Naturally. Don't send me any hate mail or anything. I just can't resist a really good pun or a really good plate of nachos either. That's good. Oh yeah. Well, just watch me eat them. Make a plan. Add your own variations to it. Anybody can cook nachos.